Welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the talk show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the indigenous one. And next week, it should have been when Latasha Harlins went down, because that's when I started it. But we're having a zone of silence. And what the zone of silence is meant to show is that we are not the minority in here, because you have to ask yourself the question, where do you go in the world if the indigenous people are the minority people? This is just things we believe that other people tell us that is meant to confuse us. So next week, we're coming up with this zone of silence, and the zone of silence is meant to show African Americans the system runs on you, your spending habit, what you do, how you believe you should spend your money, what you spend your money on. And right now we're seeing the economic landscape change big time in America, big time. And we have to know our purpose in it. Why are we in this economic system? How is the economic system benefiting us? Because from what I've been seeing, everybody else been benefiting but us. So tonight we're going to talk about that. And please, if you have anything to add, if you have anything that you think can be done, because we really, it's really time for some actions. And this is for the people who call themselves African American, Black, Negro, Jigga, what you call yourselves. All hands on deck. Tonight, Teacher Tia Khan is going to show us or open our minds up to some other things that we should be doing coming next week. Teacher Tia Khan, welcome, brother.
Hello, fam. How you doing, Buck? Good to be back. How's everything?
Everything is cool, brother. Everything is cool. We get ready for this No Grandma's Killer tour in Atlanta. Y'all check it out. Find out who your folks are here in America. I know you always want to be a foreigner, but find out who your people are. Find out who your great-great-great-great-grandmama is. Can we do that? I know football season is coming up and we want to jump into that shit, but find out who you are. Find out what your purpose is on the planet and start living it.
That's what's up right there, Buck. Because if you don't know who you are, you can become anything. I can create anything and you'll become it. So tonight we're talking about the zone of silence and how is this relating to our economic situation? Well, I came up with this title, Emergency Zone of Silence, because there's a place in New Mexico called the Zone of Silence. You can't pick up any radio transmissions there. Your compasses won't operate. It's like everything is in a whirlpool and it's totally silent there. Nothing moves. So if you relate that to economics, we're going to do for the whole month of July a zone of silence. And I'm asking everybody to join in with us for this cause. And what I mean by zone of silence, sometimes the best way of saying something is saying nothing at all. Sometimes the best way of doing something is doing nothing at all. If I refuse to move, then what you got? You got nothing. So here's the thing. We've been marching. We've been preaching, singing, praying for years. I worked all day in this barbershop, drove all night to Jenna, Louisiana, when they had that incident down there with them boys with them nooses. Marched all day and had to drive home back that night. We marched, we sweated, no justice, no peace. And here we are still at the same starting gate. No justice, no peace, with the same stuff going on. So you have to ask yourself, how long are you going to cry? How long are you going to moan? How long are you going to wear your shoes out? I want y'all to stop for a moment. Put your sign down for a minute. I ain't said stop protesting. Put it down and just hear me out for a second. When you get through marching and you get through protesting and you get through showing your anger, you're going to, at some point, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to get tired. And guess what you're going to do? I'm hungry and I'm thirsty. So you got to go somewhere to get you something to eat and something to drink. Now, we all know the percentages of what's black owned in this country and what is not. We all know, if you do your research, what's owned by who and who owns what. If you do your research, we know what the KKK owns. We know what the Black Panthers own. We know what all these groups, how they're affiliated. Technology is out there. So I ask you the question, with marching, you're praying and stop beating us and stop hitting us and get your feet off our necks. Why would they stop when you're constantly spending your hard-earned money, empowering them to get more sticks to beat you with and more knee pads to put it on your neck to get a quick smothering response? See, we got to think about these things. We are empowering them. So we are initiating. This is something that ain't being televised. It ain't being broadcast. I'm coming on here to try to reach everybody. And this is the last day of the month. It starts tomorrow. The zone of silence. You don't have to say nothing. You don't have to do nothing. Nothing from nothing gets nothing. Which means that if you ain't got something to beat me with, then guess what? It's an even playing field. It's an even playing field. You are empowering the very ones who are out here oppressing you. When they say defund the police, they're not talking about get rid of police. They are seizing thousands and thousands of dollars of your goods and stuff through seizures. That's why their knee pads so big. They got 5 layers on every layer. And you funding it. Zone of silence, people. Zone of silence.
Teacher, can you give us
I'm here.
Could you give us
in Memphis with a couple of people who have gathered themselves together with me to help push this zone of silence. Because it has been said many, many times before. If you want to make a change, you got to change the way you're doing things. Now, one thing about it, I talked about in one of my other shows about the 4 horses that were released upon the earth. The black one had a pair of balances in his hand. Now, I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm not thumping that. But I'm trying to use some wisdom, some spiritual wisdom. This black horse had a pair of balances in his hand, which represented money, finance. That was us. We were the black Moors who brought the banking system to what it is today. They still follow some of the rules of the Moors. They developed a system where you could leave from one place with a piece of paper in your hand, travel to another province, and present that piece of paper and get the same amount in gold. That was the Moors. That was us. So I know we love money.
Teacher.
But you know what our problem is?
Teacher.
We love it, but we can't keep it. We can't keep it. No sooner we get it in our hands, we got to give it smack away. Your money don't last.